we are in Canada. Our current federal government has a particular agenda of expanding fossil fuel infrastructure. So we're here hearing a lot about fossil fuels, even when many of the delegates are saying very publicly and on stage, we're in the midst of a fossil fuel crisis. We don't get out of the fossil fuel crisis by spending more money on fossil fuels. So I think there's been a little bit of we're seeing maybe the tension. I've always said about the IEA that they tend to tell the best story possible for oil and gas. And that was still true even when they were producing those reports around net zero and meeting 1.5. Like, we can see actually that some of the projections that they were making around declines for oil and gas demand were slower than we're actually witnessing. And they've maintained no need or room for new production, right? It might be more varied in the reports than it used to be, but it's still there.
Exactly.
They maintain renewables are the way to go. Demand for oil and gas are dropping dramatically. We are going to reach peak demand before we reach peak demand to supply. They're continuing to say that. A lot of other countries, in particular in the global majority, are thinking about energy efficiency from a competitiveness perspective, right? I heard one delegate say every unit of energy we waste is directly correlated to the loss in competitiveness against one of our manufacturing partners. And so, many countries are thinking about this not just from how do we make energy systems more efficient, how do we better provide energy access to our citizens by making sure that we build out our energy systems in an efficient way. They're also saying this is actually about our competitiveness and our trade policy. And I think Canada probably has a lot to learn on both of those fronts.
So, folks, we're coming towards the end of the Global Energy Efficiency Conference hosted in Montreal this past Monday and Tuesday by the International Energy Agency, and we have a real treat to close off our series of interviews. Catherine Abreu has been a force of nature in climate work for as long as I've been in this space. Wei Cat worked at the Ecology Action Center in Halifax. She was the person who attended the utility hearings and parsed through everything that was going on, and then got to explain back to everybody else what was actually happening and what was next. She was the Executive Director of Climate Action Network Canada, and along with the rest of